Hi friends, welcome to third podcast on my YouTube channel. Today we have Sukh from Launchman. He's a full stack developer and currently working on a no-code programmatic SEO tool called Launchman. And he's also helping you build your SaaS companies faster. So welcome, Sukh. How are you?
Thanks so much for having me, man. I'm awesome.
Yeah. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Yeah. So like you said, like I'm a full stack developer. I work from like Ottawa, Canada. And like specifically I try to build programmatic sites, but for SaaS startups. Yeah, that's been like I've been doing that for like the last year or so now. Finally getting to somewhere now.
Yeah. So from where you get to know about programmatic SEO, what makes you interested in working in programmatic SEO industry?
Yeah. Well, like what I found was, I think 2 years ago, I'm a big Zapier user.
Oh,
So what I
okay.
would do is I would search on Google search, be like, can I connect like X to Y? So I would connect like Slack to Google Calendar, that kind of thing. And I was so surprised that every single thing I would put in, Zapier would be right there. And I just thought that was so fascinating. And then I started like understanding. I'm like, they have like 150, 200, whatever number of tools at the time there were. And I just did an experiment by like just putting in Slack and then putting in any other random tool I could think of, like MailChimp, and they had a page for that. And then I started connecting the dots, being like, are they doing this manually? Because it looks like it could be done manually, but there's no way that this is being done manually. I was impressed by that, and I just left it, didn't give it a second thought. Then a little bit later, I saw a YouTube video. They were explaining how Canva got to a 1 billion in valuation, and again, the reason they did it was from organic SEO. Essentially, they had created a page per type of graphic that you can create with Canva. So, like, if you search up like "Get Well Soon" card or Father's Day card, Canva is right there. And so this
Yeah.
was the second one. And the third one, there's a podcast called Indie Hackers Worldwide. There was a gentleman on there that built VisaList.com, and he created a page per country to country. So if I'm in Canada, how can I go to Australia? And there's a page of like all the visa process that I need. And he had that for every single thing. And then he started explaining what the programmatic part of that was and that he wasn't doing this manually. And I'm like, oh, this is what's happening. All these startups, what they're doing is instead of locking their data inside their SaaS, they're putting it out in a way where people can find them and then once they're convinced of the quality of the thing that they read or the tool that they use, they will go up and sign up for the tool. So because I've been building a lot of products, like I build SaaS products for fun, I've gotten zero revenue out of them. So I thought this was a great way of starting to get some marketing done, but from like a developer standpoint, where like every developer
Yeah.
wants to like automate everything. So that's how I got involved, and now I specifically go for like a programmatic strategy for SaaS products because I think they can get a lot of value out of it.
Okay. So for if someone want to like create a SaaS, so how can we do like keyword research for programmatic SEO project? Can we do programmatic SEO for existing SaaS business, or if someone is starting a SaaS business from scratch, say in car industry or finance industry? So how can we
Yeah,
do keyword research for that? What would be the first step for that? Like how we know that programmatic SEO is for us?
yeah. Well, the thing is, a broad way of thinking about it is if you created a SaaS, it's because someone has a problem for that
Yeah.
SaaS, right? So that your SaaS is solving. Let's actually bring up an example. Let's do with Canva. It's an easier one to like think about. So Canva
Mhm.
creates birthday cards online. The problem there is the problem that Canva is solving is not everyone has the Photoshop skills to create a card online or Illustrator skills to do that online. Not everyone has. I think it's very costly to get Adobe Photoshop in the first
Mhm.
place, and you need to be an expert to like do all that. That is a problem. If I want to create a birthday card for my dad, do I now need to take a year's worth of like courses to do that? No, you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, your customers in Google are searching for, can I create or how do I create X in X without Photoshop? right? So how do I create a birthday card using Photoshop? How do I create a get well soon card in Photoshop? How do I create a business card without Photoshop? That's what I meant, without Photoshop, right? So once you figure out that that's the uh, problem the person that's having, and that's the immediate like problem I have, like tomorrow's
Yeah.
my birthday, my birthday. I need to make a card right now. That's what I'm going to search. And you know the Canva is going to be the right solution if you just pop it in front of that person as the answer. There you go. So that's your now keyword strategy, where now you would take that string and just figure out different variations of it. How do people ask this question in Google, right? It's a wording that can be different. So I could ask, how do I create a birthday card without Photoshop? But I could even also ask, how do I create a birthday card online, right? How do I create a birthday card for free? All these
Yeah.
things are variations of the similar problem, just like said differently. So what I would do is, based on this, my thinking, I'm going to take all these kind of keywords and then plug them into Ahrefs and just try to understand which one is more natural as a asking question, right? Which one are people asking more? And you will see that from like either the volume that is on that keyword, or even clusters. What is the cluster that it falls under? And then what I will do from that one seed keyword, I'll know these other ones as well. And then that's where I would kick off my keyword research, and then just continue down the branches and figure out, oh, is this something I can see my customers searching for? And then retroactively figuring out if it's difficult to rank for, right? And now, once you've done that, say, how do I create a birthday card for free online? I want to go with that. On your page, and we'll talk a little bit more about how to structure your page, but on your page now, if you just have create a birthday card for free, then what the birthday card will look like, some examples of like what the text on the card would be like, and then a button that says use this template.
Yeah.
That is all that customer needs to now convert. And so that's the way I think about a SaaS, specifically for SaaS, doing the keyword research, not the other way around, where you go into Google and then you think you start from cards and then figure out what are other like high volume keywords in there. Because the truth is, it's the conversion rate is not going to be that great. And it's just going to look like a little bit like spam. We're not creating blogs here. We're actually
Yeah.
creating a page which converts the person. It's kind of like a landing page, really.
Okay. So can we do it in service niches? Like for example, if I have web designing agency and I want to create a pages for all India, so
Yeah.
how do you think it would work for that?
The web designing agency is a cool one. It's services you can do it. Well, the easy one is, which is location based, right? Like web designing
Yeah,
agency.
location based.
Yeah. Then go staff based.
Okay.
Next.js, web designing, Inex.
Hmm.
Go industry based. Um, because the person that's going to be searching for you, the fact that they need a web design agency, means
Yeah.
that they don't understand all these nuances. So they might be saying, best design agency that designs websites for restaurants, right? Or best design agency that makes like hairdressing websites, or hairdresser or booking websites, right?
Yeah.
So go industry based like that. The other thing you can also do is, this is a very famous example, or like everyone's kind of doing it, is inspiration pages. That's a
Yeah.
really good one.
Course inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. Like SaaSlandingpage.com is the one I use, where you create pages like fintech landing page examples, and then you have a
Yeah.
bunch of them at the bottom. You say, "Oh, we do it too, by the way. So if you want to like book a consultation with us, you can do it." So that's the other way of doing it.
Okay. Yeah. As you told, like you are a full stack web developer. So how you got into marketing? Because like if we are just a developer and we want to take advantage of programmatic SEO, we developers don't have much options to make some money. Like we have just option to sell the service or to do the job. But if we developer have the knowledge of marketing, we can, I think, make some more money online doing programmatic SEO. So
Yeah.
any roadmap for developer you can share?
Yeah. Well, if you're a developer, you're already in the like you're already winning, right? Because if you're not a developer, you have to like shell out X number of money to get something built that you can
Yeah.
market it. But now that you're a developer, the thing to understand is the code itself doesn't mean anything. It's just code, it's just written text until it actually solves someone's problem, and then they give you the a dollar or like whatever money back, right?
Mhm.
That's the full loop. If you think as a developer just creating a product is enough, it's not. So if you're a developer, you actually need to now stop thinking about like the new tech that's coming out, all that kind of stuff, and jump into the marketing side of it, because it's actually easier. You find more benefit by selling first
Mhm.
and then building versus building first and then selling. So change your developer mindset if you're a developer and become a marketer instead that can do, because the reason is because if you're a marketer and with a developer background, you will kill the industry because you know how to like automate stuff. If you don't
Yeah.
have a tool for that, you will build a tool for that. You have so much more resources, and then because like all other marketers are stringing together a bunch of different tools, you can like not even have to like do that. You can just write a script in like an hour that does it way better than anyone else out there. So you have a major edge as a developer, but you have to stop thinking like a developer and become a marketer to really make some revenue. Programmatic is great because you're actually taking the classic marketing strategy of SEO that people
Yeah.
always like. That's what Google is built on. That's what the biggest company for the last like 10, 20 years have been built on, is you're like supercharging it with the knowledge that you have. So what I would recommend for developers is when you one is build services that people want to pay for. That's the one. Number two is sell it first with like a landing page. So put the landing page up and say, this is a problem, this is a solution, this is a screenshot of what I'm thinking I'm going to build. Put it in the middle, just put a pre-order for $20. This is
Okay.
what I did last year. So before Launchman, I had like 3 or 4 products. So I just literally did this. I knew I could build this. So I put pre-order for $10. And then on like Twitter, I put it up. On Indie Hackers, I put it up. On Reddit, I put it up. I think over like 50, 60 people that came through, 2 people ended up paying me $10 for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is great. If I can sell something right now without actually building it, if I build it, it's gonna kill. Like it's gonna be massive. And then the other option, other thing also is that you write that, if this product is not going to get built, I'll refund you the money. So the product that someone paid me that I got 2 orders for, it was like a crypto-based product. And because the crypto industry just went belly up, I had to
Mhm.
actually refund the money, and I was completely okay with it. And I actually put that screenshot up on Twitter as well, being like, I really can't. I actually lost a lot of money in crypto. It's
Yeah.
a different story, but yeah, I was like, oh, I can't really build this product. I don't feel like this is the right product anymore, so I'm gonna refund them. And then you just rinse and repeat until there is one time where it's a thing that you want to build. There is a problem that there's a big problem that there's some problem that can be solved, and then people are willing to pay for it. All these 3 things align on a landing page, and people are already giving you pre-orders. And it's a scary thought, but it will happen. And that's when you start coding, and that's when you start like using your developer skills. But until that day, you are a marketer. Whether you use programmatic SEO, whether you use any other like manual posting on social media, or create free content, those things, you're a marketer until the day someone pays you. The other thing I would say is in the downtime until you actually have a product that you work consistently on, put stuff out for free. So because you're a coder, you know how to make things faster. So if you
Yeah.
see someone, I think last episode you guys were talking about how to programmatically generate images, right?
Yeah.
If I programmatically generate images, I'm not going to sit there and then like screenshot every like for 10,000 pages. So
Mhm.
if as a developer you can like write a script that can do this faster, just put it up on YouTube and say, here's the full script, copy paste it from my GitHub here. This is how you run it. And if you build something with this thing, just let me know. And then now what you're building is the community around you, which is going to be massively valuable when you come up with a product idea, put that landing page up, and you need to like spread the word out. Just a positive karma in the downtime as a developer would like help you out later as well. So that's another thing I did to just putting stuff out for free.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. Like as you said, we developer have to think like a marketer. I'm curious to know like how you got into marketing, because like when we are a developer, our community, our circle is of developer. The website we serve, like Stack Overflow, this type of website we serve, there is nothing shared there about marketing. So I'm curious to know like how you got into the marketing part.
Yeah. Well, I got into the same way every developer does. What happens is you build a product, right?
Yeah.
You spend a year on it, and nobody buys it when you put it out for launch. Famously, I got I think 10 upvotes on my product hunt launch for a product that I worked for on for about a year and a half. My like every day I would go there, and then I got 10 upvotes, and I'm like, there has to be a better way because this is not it. So that's how I was like, okay, time to shelve my like my developer hat and then move into marketing. For resources, there's a really good Slack group I recommend, Indie Hackers Worldwide. I think it's called
Yeah,
Indie
indie
World.
hackers,
Yeah,
indiehackers.com.
yeah, exactly. Oh, indiehackers.com. There's also Indie Worldwide. It's a different group, but it's basically an online meetup. And they have one or two meetups every month, and they have a Slack group. And a lot of people there are indie hackers. So they specifically, they don't, I don't think a lot of people talk about code there. They just talk about like business strategy and marketing in general. So just seeing how people talk and work there, that's great. So I got a lot of ideas from them. The other one is the second thing I recommend is Twitter. Twitter is absolutely crazy. I don't think a lot of people share like code samples there. So I would actually go to Twitter, maybe just follow me and then follow everyone I follow because they're awesome. So they
Yeah.
always share, this is what I did and this is what happened. This is what I did and this is what happened. So you get a lot of like experimentation that you would have done yourself and taken multiple months. Someone just telling you kind of like what works and what doesn't, and maybe like what to expect. And then the third one is indiehackers.com, which you brought up. People there are awesome too. They always have these kind of like landing page roasts, right? Those, so they will tell you, whatever you've written, it doesn't make sense. Fix it. Just that feedback will help you understand how customers or people think. And then a bonus one I can tell you is I listen to a lot of My First Million. Do you know the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called My First Million. Incredible podcast. You should listen to it, and everyone that is like trying to like come up with product ideas or product strategies, they talk about those things there. So that's also a really, really good one.
Okay. I'm also a developer, and I'm also like shifting to marketing part. But one day I code, and second day I'm working on marketing it. So how easy and difficult it is for you, because you are also on the same thing. You are one day you develop and market. How easy or difficult it is for you to shift mind from marketing to development part?
Yeah, I think one day is too extreme. What I recommend, and I think this was also recommended on Twitter, but someone else does it, which is 1 month of marketing and 1 month of development. So what happens because what's going on is when you market, let's say you're trying to create a piece of content, right?
Yeah.
You have a SaaS and you're like, oh, let me just make a video on this SaaS, like a tutorial on how to do this. And then you like notice a bug, and then now you have to go back and fix it. And you're like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, or like I'll do it right now. It's just, it just stops you from being your like a better way of saying this is in the month that you're marketing, you are a user of the app and you don't know the coder, you're just using it and you're just writing down things that are wrong with it. And you're making a massive list. And then when the development part comes, that's when you start doing the list, right? Um, that I found to be a lot more consistent. And the other thing is, by the way, if you do like marketing one day and coding the other day, marketing takes so long. Like when you put up a post, there's people
Yeah.
like respond to you for like the whole week, not just that day. So now you naturally are mixing those two things up. A month is a good time where you can post consistently, reply to people, talk to people, and then once you're done that, you can say for this marketing for this development run. I'm going to implement these things. Then you start posting up now your development, like code samples or the things you're thinking about of implementing. Then you do that for the month. And then the next month, now you can talk about the things you were implemented, how to use them, make a video about them, talk about them on the podcast, write a blog post about them, do customer
Yeah.
support, and then on and on like that. So a month is a much better time frame than a day would be.
Yeah. I'm also active on Twitter from last few months, and I have seen a hashtag built in public is very trending in developers who are building SaaS things these days. So, what do you think about that? Built in public, is it beneficial or what?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I've the customers that I've gotten, especially for the V1 when I launched, were all from Twitter. The
Okay.
other thing, the great thing about this is you don't want to build something based on what you think people need. You
Yeah.
kind of want to have like a couple of your buddies just take a look at it intermittently, even if it's not like the same people every time, or sometimes it might be like thousands of people looking at it. Sometimes it's like 20 people looking at it. Someone
Mhm.
looking at it, one, it just they just understand that this is happening in the world. This kind of
Yeah.
thing, like someone building for this kind of problem, they just understand that. Number two is they can be like when you look at something, you're like, why are you doing this way? Why can't you do it this way? Just a small thing can rapidly shift what you're building. Like it can go from
Yeah.
like, oh, I think you should do it this way to now we should do it this way. So building public is kind of like course correction over and over again. So you don't end
Yeah.
up just going completely off path. Highly recommend it if you're building. Honestly, if you're doing like building any sort of like programmatic SEO pages,
Yeah.
asking for
Because
help yeah, yeah, asking
yeah,
for like
because of
help.
idea stealing, things can be done.
Exactly. Just being like, have you done it before? What do you think it worked for you? Or even like, oh, this is what I think my keywords are going to be. I'm going to be going after. What do you think about these? Are there any more I should add them? The other thing that you can ask is, this is what I think. You can mock up a page, right? This I
Yeah.
think the title is gonna look like this. The content inside is gonna look like this, and then there's gonna be an image. There's gonna be a graph. Is this the correct way of doing this? What else would you add to the page? But yeah, if you add those things in, and if you want to tag me in there, and we can like everyone can take a look and give suggestions versus like you just like kind of building in your own head, and because SEO is long, right? It takes so long to see results, so you might
Mhm.
as well just do everything up front and then wait for the results. Then wait 3 months for the results, and then now start like iterating again, and then it takes a long time.
And one more question I have for you is how you got the idea of the launch menu of your product?
Yeah. So what I was mentioning about Visa List, Canva, Zapier, I was looking at all these tools,
Yeah.
and I was like, instead of building the tool, let me, or instead of like, I wanted to like learn how to do it. So what I did was I picked up Next.js because I knew with server-side rendered pages, you can create these kind of like SEO kind of pages uh,
Mhm.
pretty easily.
Yeah.
Um, and I wrote a blog on it. So I wrote like exactly how to like set up your sitemap, how do you collect the data, and the website I was building. It's still on my blog somewhere. I can link it to you after. It's so it had it was a books data set. So like what book to read for which target industry, or like if you're a
Mhm.
programmer, you
Yeah.
should read. If you're a developer, you should like all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I wrote a full blog post. I think it was like 3,000 words with code samples, everything, and then I get up source code as well about how to like implement all this stuff. And people would occasionally reach out to me being like, oh, this is a great guide. How do I extend it to like do this? How do I extend it to do that? And then I started wondering if there was a tool for it, and there wasn't really. So I thought there was like people still are using WordPress
Yeah.
to do all these things, and WordPress requires you to have like 5 or 6 plugins working together to create like a good pSEO website. And if you've seen like Webflow sort of has unbundled landing pages out of WordPress. That's
Yeah.
what I thought like, the next iteration of programmatic SEO would be something, a tool like a Webflow, where you just come in, you say, this is my data. I'm going to design my page like this, and then publish it, and it will automatically do the internal linking. right? So you don't have to think about that. It will automatically do, like, if you want to programmatically generate images for every single page based on a template, it will do that. It will add in the chat GPT, the AI generation text, like it will be part of that as well. All these things that I don't want to think about. All I want to do is give it a data set and give it a template, and then you help me, you tell me what I need. I don't want to sit here and spend a year on like different courses to figure out what SEO is, and like then what programmatic SEO is, what is the silo structure, all these things. Just please do it for me and make the results look awesome. That's what I started off with, and then I started like there wasn't a tool that did this. Most of them are WordPress plugins. So I just took that initial blog that I had and kind of made a tool out of it. So it was pretty bare bones, and I got 10 customers off of it, and I'm like, oh, this thing's got legs. That there is something here. So now I'm working on like a couple more features, but specifically, so like the vision, like I mentioned, is you come in, you give me the data, you say this is a page template. Please create the pages for me and help me get traffic for my SaaS product. So that's the vision I want to get to, and that's what I'm building out right now.
It's like do it for yourself page.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's great. So you said it's in beta and we can access. Can we access it, or like we have to? How can we access your tool?
Yeah, so right now it's private beta. But for your audience, I'll send you guys a link for your audience, like you can like sign in automatically. Or actually, you know what? I will send my email. If you just email directly there, I'll give you an invite. That's a better system to do that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll share it in description.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all question from my end are done now. So any tip or suggestion you would like to give to someone who is want to start a SaaS with programmatic SEO? Any tips you would like to share, or what else? Anything you want to share to them?
Yeah, if you're creating a SaaS, I would start off with first writing content. So even though programmatic SEO is like writing a lot of content for you quickly, you first have to start off with the validation. So before even building the product, before even thinking about the strategy, write content about the problem itself. So going back to our earlier example is, how do I create a birthday card without Photoshop? Actually write out an article and publish it on your website that says, how do we do this with existing tools, right?
Yeah.
And then slowly what's going to happen is like people are going to find you that actually do have these problems, and you validate the problem, right? And at the CTA for that time is going to be, oh, I'm thinking about building this tool. I will let you know how it goes. If you just put in your email here, I'll like send you an email, right? You just monitor the traffic that's coming through. What other thing also is happening in the meantime is Google Search Console will have like a massive list of keywords that your pages are now ranking for, right?
Yeah.
So I would do that, like write 5-10 good quality articles, put those up. Now that if you know that there is a lot of people that do want a tool for this, I would start now with building a screenshot, send that email out to people, the people that had signed up, being like, oh, I'm building this thing. There's a landing page for you guys where you can pre-order, right? And then they will do a pre-order for you. Now you're in business because now people are paying for your thing that you haven't built yet. Now what I would do is, before we're building a product, expand your original articles with a programmatic strategy. So now if you had one page that said how to get soon card without Photoshop, you expand that to every type of card that's available. So now you have an insane amount of traffic coming in, and they're all going to the landing page that's a pre-order landing page, right? Yeah. So now what you built originally is a distribution method for your startup that's coming out. And now when your like V1 is out, every single page at the end, instead of the landing page pre-order, now that becomes sign up for this tool to create more designs like this, create more cards like this. And now you'll see a lot of users coming in. That is the best way, in my opinion, to build a SaaS with using programmatic SEO strategy.
Yeah, thanks for this strategy and your time. It was a great talking with you on programmatic SEO. Yeah,
awesome, man. Yeah, of course. And if you want to follow me or figure out what I'm doing, you can like find me on Twitter. My Twitter is @thisissukh_.
Yeah, I will
And I'll
share it for you too.
yeah, awesome.
Thanks for your time, Sukh. Bye. See you.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.